I'm Supermoon Tarot, and in today's video we are going to be looking at the story of your twin flame soulmate journey by looking at the cards. As you can see, there are 4 groups in front of us. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to give you a moment to pick the group that you resonate with most. Now that we've done that, you can go down to the description where you can skip to your designated group and timestamp, and we can get started with group number 1. Group number 1, let's find out the story of your twin flame soulmate journey by looking at the cards. We've got the Emperor upright, the High Priestess upright, King of Cups in reverse, 7 of Cups in reverse, 8 of Wands upright, 8 of Cups in reverse, sorry, I'm just listening right now to my spirit guide. Okay. They were like, you can do the tarot reading. I'm so excited. I love working with my new spirit guide. They actually have they've started popping up in my tarot readings, but they've now started popping up in other aspects of my life, and I just really love them, and I love this new experience with them. And one of the things I love about working with them with tarot is they give a lot of specifics, and they, even before I pulled this, they said how many cards, and they said 6 cards, and they said chronological reading, and I said okay. So the first thing they were saying to me before I get into this is that the way you will identify your person is that this person is extremely emotional. They are very attuned with their emotions. It's not going to be hard to express yourself with them or for them to hear you out if there's some sort of disagreement. They're very open, okay with their own emotions, with hearing about other people's emotions. This is a comfortable, normal subject for them. So expect to feel automatically comfortable just purely because of this sort of openness. You don't feel like you have to censor yourself. So that's something they were telling me before I got into this. Now, let's get into the other stuff they're telling me right now. So that these are two different people that you actually already know. I'm being told they are family members, and it represents them conspiring together. Conspiring is a pretty intense word, but it's still the word my spirit guide stands by, because in some cases it will feel like they're quote unquote conspiring against you, and other times it will feel like they're well-intentioned. It's well-intentioned either way, but it doesn't feel as unwanted. You're like, oh, that's nice. Okay, yeah, sure. But either way, they're going to be conspiring together in order to have you meet this other person. These 2 family members, one of the family members will be an older male. In some cases, they'll be significantly older, and in other cases, because this is a general reading, I'm getting more of like a little bit over 30s vibe, like mid 30s type of vibe. So it's like those 2 type of age groups. But either way, this is somebody who's going to be a little more gruffer and rougher around the edges. For the older person, like the much older person, they are very much like highly masculine, where they would be working with tools a lot. Keep in mind, this is not how I define masculinity. They're just giving me different traits of this person. They're kind of more quiet. I'm being shown a lot of like kind of gruffer facial expressions, like naturally more of a scowl they hold their face. They don't give me mean or rough energy. But it is, it's not mean energy, but it's rough around the edges is the best way I can describe it. I'm being shown constantly like a stubble that's both like the description of how they feel. And then for the more mid-30s age range, I'm getting a sarcastic sort of vibe, like standoffish. So they're they exhibit their masculinity in an aggressive way through more verbal and emotional cues. But again, not mean, well-intentioned. It's just they tend to push people away in this sort of department. And then over here, it's interesting. This person is an older female. They are almost in their own version, like stoic as well, but they are much more in tune with their emotions. They just don't express their emotions like they keep their emotions closer to the chest, but they aren't afraid of every now and then being like, hey, listen, this is how I feel, this is how it should be. They're not as completely closed off as this emperor guy feels. Either way, they definitely feel they know what is best. Half of that's true, but half of that is their ego getting in the way. But either way, no matter the situation being a little more intense and uncomfortable for you, and the other situation meaning more sweeter, both situations have well intentions behind them. Either way, these two people are going to be working together in order to set you up with this other person. Now, I'll tell you right away, I'm being told there will be resistance on your end no matter the situation, because you kind of feel like you're sort of being controlled and you can make your own decisions, and this isn't exactly what you want to experience, but also because I'm being shown that the universe is going to be throwing you around this time a lot of different options. For some people, it's a lot of different dating options. For some people, it feels like different job opportunities and fun things you could do. And so it feels like when they pop in and they're like, we want you to see this other person, we've set you up with someone, come see this other person, you're just like, please get out of my life. I'm not interested. Look at all these other different things. You're upsetting me. You're frustrating me. I can feel you're also trying to control my love life, and even sometimes it feels like control my emotions. But these other options, no matter the situation, because again, this is a general reading. For some people, it's relationships. For other people, it's like life options. They will not be working out. This also will be emotionally upsetting you, but this is because the universe is trying to kind of show you all the different routes that could, like, okay, so if you normally had met this person, you might make excuses for yourself because it's too good to be true, where you're like, oh, well, I could go over here. Well, I don't know. What if another person pops up? And so the universe is kind of taking care of that during this time by giving you options and showing how they don't work out. So when this other person pops up, there's no doubt in your mind of being like, yep, I've seen the other possible options. They don't work out. I know for sure this is the person for me. I can't possibly make an excuse or self-sabotage or mentally or emotionally find a reason to get in my own way. So when this happens, this isn't a failure thing. This is the universe trying to communicate in a way you understand. And I'm being told none of these options, quote unquote, not working out will necessarily be a huge disappointment. It will just be kind of like, just like a slight disappointment. Like, oh, man, really, again? Why does this keep happening to me? I'm just seem to keep going through bad dating option after option, or I thought I was going to go on this trip and then that didn't happen, and I guess. And they said that you are allowed to, during this time, keep an upbeat attitude now knowing this information. Like, you're allowed to be like, I know these options aren't meant to be happening because I'm already being told like something like this better person, this better thing is around the corner, so I'm being shown this. You're allowed to be upbeat. That's not going to change anything. You're just still going to be shown the options, again, to make certain in your heart for sure that this other person is for you. Now, the second you do meet them, this is going to be an extremely intense, fast connection. The Eight of Wands normally represents that, but I'm being told by my spirit guide it's going to be like next level fast with you. It will feel like you've known each other forever and feel like this sort of connection and like sense of loyalty. Well, like very quickly into the relationship, within like a month, it will be as if you want to like buy a house with them or something like that. And interestingly enough, they said that, my spirit guide said that a year from that point, from meeting and being together, you will make a big life choice together. And that just depends on where you're at in your life. So for some of you, if you want this, you can straight up have marriage, but it will be some sort of declaration and it will translate in the way that makes sense to you. So for some of you, maybe you buy a car together, maybe you buy a house together, maybe you move in together. together. It just depends on what you're comfortable at and where you're at in your life. But a year from then, it will be a very declarative statement between the two of you being like, yes, for sure, we already know we're going to be together forever, but this is the physical, material manifestation of showing the world. It's like showing each other, but you're pretty set at that point that you're going to be together forever. Like, you're like, yep, we're going to be together forever. We're just showing everyone else. But yeah, it's a little showing yourself that, again, you're going to be together forever. Now, I am being told one last bit of information that there is going to be some sort of moving involved. I was initially a little confused if you were going to them, but I'm now being told for certain they will be coming to you. This move can... Sorry, I'm getting information. It seems that the specific I can tell you is that when you are like, okay, we're clicking, or we want to be together, and I'm not talking about the year manifestation after being together. I'm talking about like talking to each other on the phone, starting to date, starting to declare feelings. They will move to your area in order to be with you and make being together much easier. But I'm not being told specifics of like how far away it is. Like in some cases they might just be a couple towns over and they move near you because now it's easier to date. You don't have to, commute as far to be together and date. For some of you, it could be a couple states away and they actively make choices in order to be really close to you. Either way, it just feels like this intense level of commitment right off the bat is welcomed, very easy, feels streamless, natural. It's not something where you suddenly will feel commitment phobia and be like, oh no, should they be giving up their, life options in another place in order to come here? Nope. Everyone's cool with it. You're cool with it. They're cool with it. And it's the right thing to do. And because you're meant to date by being together all the time with one another in person more conveniently. So yeah. And then my spirit guide says they don't want to say more after that because essentially no matter when you get married, if you would like to get married or whatever you guys choose in the long run is more your choice. They're just showing me that you will grow old together, that there is... Oh, I'm being told I can't go further than that. Okay. The long story short is that you will be together, but your options of the details of like how you want that relationship to develop is really your own. But you just need to know that once you get together, and especially after that year commitment sort of present or activity that you do together, it's sort of like set in stone of like, yep, no question, loyalty's there, it's understood deep to our very core. Whenever we want to either like have kids or get married or like if that's what you want to do and you don't do it, that's all to your individual cases. But this is the confirmation of being like, yep, this is it. This is together. Not everyone ends up staying with their soulmate. You will. Your soulmate twin flames. Just want to put that out there. So yeah, we love all these details. Thank you, Spirit Guide. If you enjoyed this reading as much as I did, please consider giving it a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps with the channel like you would not believe. And I'm just personally wishing you the best. Everybody is. I will see you in the next one. And let's get ready for group number 2. Group number 2. Let's look at the story of your twin flame soulmate by looking at the cards. We've got information already coming in. Ace of Cups in reverse. 4 of Pentacles in reverse. 7 of Swords upright, 8 of Swords in reverse, the Fool upright, and Judgment in reverse. Okay, my spirit guide just keeps saying this is important. Okay, sorry, I'm just taking in information from them. They are so wonderful. They have recently started working with me in tarot, and it's led to them working with me in other aspects of my life. And I just really love them, and I deeply appreciate their help. And they give a lot of detailed specifics in tarot, and so I'm very appreciative of it. So I'm just taking all the information they're telling me. So they first told me over here that initially what's going to happen is you're going something's not going to work out in a relationship. It's not going to be a relationship that's lasted for very long, but it will feel like an extreme disappointment. This is either because this is a specific person you really wanted to be with and you finally got to be with them, and then unfortunately they leave you or something like that, and it just, you feel devastated, you really wanted to be with them. Or it's like the expectation you put on having a relationship, and so when you clicked with someone and it was nice and you felt sort of blindsided that it didn't work out, it's pretty emotional and it feels difficult to deal with. It feels, either way, it feels like you're defining yourself by this one thing not working out, and this leads to a time period where you're a little more closed off for a while and kind of, I don't want to say you swear off dating, but it's this feeling of like definitely holding yourself in, holding back, not as interested, not as seeking out, just spending some time alone, but it doesn't feel like the happiest time alone. Keep in mind, it's going to get better, but during that time period, I'm being told in another place, not in connection with you, your twin flame soulmate will be studying. For some people, it will be an actual degree, and for other people, I just keep being shown like books. It's like they took an active effort to look into some sort of hobby or thing they wanted to do, and they're very invested in it and they're having a good time, and they're on the total opposite of the emotional spectrum of the time. But it appears that this studying that they're doing is not going to be like, I don't want to say it's the main reason you guys aren't together at that time, but it seems like they're preoccupied by that and you wouldn't be able to get in contact with them either way. And it kind of beautifully, serendipitously is working out that you're going through your own emotional thing you're figuring out while they're simultaneously living their life in that kind of way. Now, when you get together, though, this is a different scenario. I am being told that when you get together, it will be at night and the moon will be visible. The phase of the moon is not necessarily important, but I keep being shown like this outside scene. I'm getting kind of opposite visions because this is such a large group. This is a general reading. For some people, I'm being shown a bit of a city. You're on like a sidewalk, you're outside. I can see there's some sort of restaurant. It's this feeling of like you were there hanging out with friends, you didn't mean to meet anyone, and you run into this person, you have like a lovely conversation, you just click. And for other people, either way, it always feels like you're meeting them at a time you're doing something else, and in many cases you're meeting through other friends. Like, so your other friends didn't mean to introduce you two together, but they know your friends, and then they come to where you are, and then that's how you meet them. And then in the other scenario, I'm being shown it's very woodsy, and it must be bright enough, like a full moon, because I can visibly see you and them, and I can see that you're kind of having this, it's this feeling of like, when you're looking at them and feeling this connection grow in your head, you're like, is this a fairy tale? This feels very magical. Is this magical because the scenery is so beautiful? Or is this magical because I'm feeling this connection? And it's a bit of both, which is really fun and cool. But at the time that you're meeting them, you have overcome that emotional closed off time period. Time is just going to naturally heal that. It won't be the most uncomfortable time in the world, but you'll definitely spend some time just like watching TV, being a little more recluse, and then eventually you're going to open up and you're going to be realizing that you've been defining yourself for a while from either your interaction with old relationships, and when I say relationships, I'm being told by my spirit guide, I'm talking to everybody, friendships, relationships with your parents, everybody. And when you look through this, you're going to be thinking about what have they tried to put on to me, and what do I want to either take or get rid of? And we're thinking of mindsets and values and belief systems and ideas. And you'll realize you've been so kind of emotionally mixed up for some time now, and took this relationship not working out so hard because you have so many conflicting ideas within you. And you're like, wait a minute, I'm my own person. I want to sift through all of this and figure out what works for me and what doesn't. And what is my own? Maybe you want to get rid of everything and you just want to figure out what is my own. But I see more of an idea of you being like, well, this is a little bit of my own, and I do like that mindset. I can keep it. even if it was influenced by someone else, I think that this is something I would like to keep. It does have value to me. And others that you're like, wait a minute, this isn't my own problems. I'm going to give this energy back. This was projected upon me. I return this to sender, so to speak. And as you're figuring stuff out, you're way more logic-based than heart-based. And this is actually the key, my spirit guide says, of why you're able to be open to this other person. You kind of put your heart on the back burner, but not in a bitter or closed off kind of way at this point. You're just like, you know what helped me out of this slump was thinking more with my mind. This feels more comfortable to me. But because your heart is not being given so much weight or focus or attention, you have this lovely conversation with this other person, you feel this natural connection, you're in the right place, and you needed to go through this in order to be able to let them into your life without all this pressure put upon it. Anyways, you're not going to feel 100% perfect when you meet them. You're still going through your sorting phase, and you can continue to sort as you get to know them. But the reason why I'm being told this is important is during this time period, it's going to feel like a lot of eyes are on you, or previously there were eyes on you. Like, it's this almost like it's more your perspective. It's not that eyes are actually all on you, but you feel like everyone's watching you. You feel like everyone's concerned with what you're going to do next. You feel like your every move's being kind of watched in that kind of way. And you're putting kind of this unnecessary pressure on yourself. And as you're meeting them and figuring out your system, but the thing is, the final key is when you make this connection with this other person, it's like you don't see it anymore. You kind of almost feel, I don't want to say alone, but it's less like you see yourself alone. You just don't see the eyes and the pressure and the comparative mindset anymore. I also am being shown that all of your chakras will be unblocked by just this connection being made. So again, you do not need to feel perfect when you meet them, but by meeting them, chakras are aligned and unblocked, and it's super pivotal to you. It's another reason why you are kind of going through this confusing era initially in the beginning, because you're unaware that your energy is a huge factor. It's like you're confusing your energy for your emotions, but they're two separate things. And again, because of all the mindsets, this is a key to why some of them are blocked, some of them are overactive or underactive. And by meeting this other person, by merely talking to them, everything aligns up and it just harmoniously comes together. And then this is when we have this beautiful, again, it feels like a movie dream era of being together. It seems that the initial first couple weeks I'm not being shown much after that, because I'm being told by my spirit guide in so many words, like, it's none of my personal business. I don't need to know. It's your experience to go through. And so I'm being given what you need to hear and what you need to know. And then from there, it's kind of like, enjoy. Now I'm, as the person reading the cards, I'm no longer in this or able to see or allowed to see, and that's okay. So in the full card, we can see that for these first couple weeks that I am being shown, it's a lot of spontaneity for both of you. You're both not really spontaneous people. It doesn't imply you're boring or anything, and you're just a normal person that has a schedule, and, maybe people are well-intentioned with being spontaneous, but many people are like, I'd rather just go home and go watch a movie or something like that. When you get together, you both feel this urge to take, a day trip and go drive somewhere for fun, or, take a detour you didn't mean to take. And it just feels extremely effortless, open, present in the moment. You're both going to feel like versions of yourselves you've never been before, and just be extremely free and loving. And everybody's not going to overthink the situation. There's a sense of, like, at times you just are unafraid and don't put any connotation on it when taking the lead romantically. Like, there'll be times when you're like, okay, I'm going to, I just feel like, giving them a flower and giving them a rose and letting them know how I feel. And is that a helicopter? I'm just going to keep going. Don't worry about it. It'll pass. Apologies about that if you can hear it. You'll just give them the rose and you won't even care that you had to give it or anything like that. And then other times they're going to feel the same way back. And so it's this beautiful non-overthinking, everybody taking turns time, which is really exciting. This is actually very key and pivotal that this happens. This is something you don't even have to worry about. You'll naturally feel this. You don't have to worry about if you even could get in your way. You won't, even if you thought you could or could try. It's not going to happen. But the reason why this era of freedom is so important is in the background, the universe is kind of waiting for this very extreme test for your relationship. This feeling of like, if you think about this too hard, I'm going to put you to the test in order to prove to you that you two are meant to be together, and it's a hard test and it's not a fun test and you will overcome it, but it's a lot and it will emotionally test you. But the thing is that is only been created because of what was initially kind of like your mindset. So it's like you put this in the future, it's hanging out and it's waiting there, and the potential is kind of, it's waiting, it could happen, but the reason why it doesn't is because you are so free-spirited and taking turns and not overthinking things. And if you are overthinking things, you ask about it and you're free with your emotions and happy. This prevents the universe feeling like they need to test you. They're like, okay, this test is waiting for you if you want it, but I see that you already accept what's in front of you. You accept this love. You don't need to be proven other than what's already happening in front of you. Okay, we'll put that on the back burner. That's not happening anymore. So really beautiful how it's all working out. That's why I can see now why my spirit guide, it said it was so important that your chakras all line up when you meet. Naturally, they're going to do this, but this huge shift and change is what's going to enable this, which will prevent this, so that from beginning to end you can enjoy the relationship. So yay, very cool, very exciting. This is gorgeous. Oh, wow. Really loved all these details. I hope you did too. If you did, please consider giving this video a like, comment, and subscribe, a share. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. I appreciate you and care for you deeply, and I am wishing you the best. I will see you in the next one. Let's get ready for group number 3. Group number 3. Let's look at the story of your twin flame soulmate by looking at the cards. We have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, the Page of Swords upright, the Six of Pentacles, right? That's 6, right? Yeah. Just double checking. 6 of Pentacles in reverse, the 9 of Wands upright, the 6 of Wands upright. Ooh, and the 10 of Cups upright. I am saying ooh because of something my spirit guide is saying. Okay, so I love this. I have recently had a new spirit guide, as you guys have heard, especially in the July blessings that came through, that has been, well, helping me and been giving me that much more detail for the situations, and I love it because you know me, I love to be super detailed when it comes to this stuff. But that being said, they have even been kind enough and generous enough to pop up in other aspects of my life, and I'm just really loving their support and guidance right now. So I just wanted to say that they're here and they're helping out and they're telling me a bunch of cool stuff right now. So let's get, and they even told me actually, in the beginning of this, they were like, pull 6 cards, read chronologically. I was like, okay. So let's get into this. So first off, they tell me that when this begins, you are at a job that you were very good at, you're great, but you hate it. You feel like you're undervalued, or you just don't like the way the system runs. It's just, you're unhappy. It's not fun. You're good at it. You do a very good job of it. Other people enjoy the results of what you do. You're highly aware and confident that you're good at what you do, but you're just not happy and you're aware of it. And you're kind of a little aware of like, should you change careers? Should you just purely move? And you just feel this feeling of like you're unable to go. You're not quite sure why it is. You confuse it for loyalty, but it's not loyalty. It's just this feeling of like, why am I not leaving this place? Why am I waiting? Well, you're actually waiting specifically for what is about to happen, the chain of events of you guys getting together and that kind of jazz. So The Page of Swords. I'm being told somebody is going to come into this place that you work at, and they are going to essentially be like, oh my gosh, I love this. I love this thing that you do. You do such a great job. Wow, I'm so impressed. This is amazing. They have an extremely young and youthful energy, and they're very supportive. And I'm kind of getting a hybrid of, in some cases, when they make this offer to you, they are the owner of it, or they work there. They're at this other job. They have a direct connection to it. And in other cases, they frequent this other place that they're going to tell you about, and they're like, oh, you should go. I go there all the time. It's amazing. But either way, I can see over here in the Six of Pentacles in reverse that they give you over the time that they are enjoying this interaction with you and appreciating what it is you have to offer at this other job, they are giving you money. And they're giving you like a substantial tip, and they're telling you about this other opportunity. You don't full on get another opportunity at this other place. You are just told, hey, I think you'd be a good fit there. If you wanted, you should totally consider it. Come by, tell me what you think, let me know. For some people, in the case where it's like, they're just letting you know that they go there all the time. They're like, I think you'd be a perfect fit. I think this place would really, benefit from you and really love what you have to offer. So you're like, okay, I'll go check it out. They gave me a good tip. They treated me so nicely. It would, what? I've been waiting to hear about a better opportunity. This just kind of fell in my lap. Perfect synchronicity, universe working. It will feel like that. And you're going to show up and you're going to kind of see what the place is like by casually enjoying whatever it is they have to offer and seeing what it is. This is the actual person we're talking about in question that you're going to meet. In some cases, they will be the actual, because this is a general reading, in some cases they will work there and they will be a pinnacle part of the way this runs, and they're also good at their job. And in other cases, they will frequent it so often that this place it will feel like they work there or they're associated with it because they're there often enough, and the other people that work there are aware of it and aware of them. They're like, oh yeah, they're a regular. They come here all the time, blah, blah, blah. Either way, in both cases, I am told they are pretty intense. They have almost kind of like a hard energy when you initially meet them, and you will just lock eyes and that's it. You will be drawn to them. It will be unexplainable. They do not have this effect on other people, but when you look into their eyes, you just can't look away. You want to connect to them. And it's not that silly scenario where you're like, oh, they look like they've been through something. I want to fix them. Not at all. It's just like, you're not even thinking about who they are or who they could be, what they seem like now, who they could be in the long run. There's just this connection that you're like, yeah, this is it. I don't know what it is, but I need to go talk to them. I've always needed to go talk to them. Why have I not talked to them sooner? This is it. I need to go find out who is behind those eyes, if that makes sense. And it will be, I'm being told by my spirit guide, a look very much like this. This is because they've been through a lot. I'm not being told specifically. This is because I'm not really supposed to know. Sometimes this happens for both people who journey for other people, but also as a tarot reader. Sometimes it's not my personal karma to know about. Like, it's their karma, so that's why I'm not supposed to look into it or go into it without their permission. And because we're talking about them and connecting to them, but we don't have their specific permission, I'm not given most of the details because apparently that's not important. You just need to know that they've been through something. But I am being told as like example options. It could be that maybe they've been frustrated for a while, and they're, hoping to get to their dream and they haven't got there yet or something like that. Either way, they're not like bitter about life or anything like that, or hard to get along with. They've just unknowingly to themselves come across harder and more intense and more, I guess we'll just describe it as like frowny face for a while. But it's a frowny face that you instantly connect with. Now here's where it's cool. From there, and this is interesting when you get the Nine of Wands too, because right after you meet them, this is going to change. And with the Nine of Wands, this always implies you're almost at the end of your journey. You're almost there. So I love that connotation. That now, this is not being something told by my spirit guide, but I'm just reading between the lines there. There could be the potential that once you meet this thing that they want to get to, this goal they've had, they could potentially reach it. I'm not seeing cards implying that's the case. I just am adding that in there. So anyways, Six of Wands. I'm being told that this is actually the thing that makes you be like, yep, I'm going to work here. I'm going to go. Let's do it. I'm down for it. Let's go. And so because you decide to go for it and make this connection with them and, you go to work at this place, you're happy, you love working there, you are of course good at it because we know that you are good at it here, but you enjoy the environment, you enjoy the way it works, you feel better, there feels like this connection, and then this card pops up. It's really interesting. My spirit guide said that they specifically picked this card for you because they said that you need to see it and you need to hear it for mental confirmation. It's like you need to hear that it's all going to work out and be okay, or it's all going to be this magical case of clicking and bliss, clicking as in clicking like when you get along well together, and bliss and happiness, and you need to be shown it. It is the case, but they're showing it as a form of comfort to you. But they're also telling me that this card specifically represents a dinner. They said that you're going to be working there a while and there's going to be then some sort of dinner. For some cases, it feels like a family dinner with your family or their family, or it could be a dinner at the place that you all work at. There's just this sense of dinner with other people. And at this dinner, that's it. The frown goes away from them. You look at each other, you connect. And in that moment, you know this is it. This is the rest of your lives. Like, this is for certain. It doesn't mean that you can't have like happiness and bliss before it and you're like dating or whatever. But I'm getting this feeling of like, you've been talking, you haven't quite dated yet, you're feeling it, there's some flirting, there maybe was some potential to date or something like that. It hasn't happened yet. And then you look at this dinner and you look at each other and you know, this is my person. This is it. Oh, I'm feeling this so magically and intensely. And from this connection and this look, that's it. From that point on, you're together. So it's this feeling of like you're not quite dating before there, you're just around each other. There's maybe some half-hearted efforts made. And then at this dinner with this exact look, this is when it all comes together. So yeah, I'm excited because we also got the additional benefit of you getting a job that you're more appreciated in, and really flowing and doing your best in addition to this connection with this other person, which I love. So if you enjoyed this reading as much as I did, please consider giving it a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. Consider sharing it too. That also helps. I care for you deeply. I'm wishing the best for you. I will see you in the next one. And let's get ready for group number 4. Group number 4. Let's look at the story of your twin flame soulmate journey by looking at the cards. We've got 6 of Cups upright, 10 of Cups in reverse, Wheel of Fortune in reverse, 3 of Pentacles in reverse, the World in reverse, and 5 of Cups in reverse. I'm just listening to my spirit guides. Give me some information. Give me a second. Okay. Okay. So this is really exciting actually because I have a new spirit guide that's popped up recently. You can actually hear them pretty intensely in the July blessings video, and they've been in every single one of my tarot videos since then, and I've just been loving their presence and guidance, and they've even popped up in other aspects of my life that aren't solely tarot based. So I love it and I'm all about it, and I hope you guys are enjoying it too, because they give me an enormous amount of detail and I appreciate it, because you know how here we love detail. So let's get started going on here over here in the 6 of Cups. So for some of you, you've already met this person, and for others, you are going to meet this person, but that concept of the past is important, and we'll talk about that in a moment. So first off, the way you're going to initially meet them is through an older person you are helping. For some people, it feels like a family friend you've known intimately, and one day they're just there and you're like, oh, hi, nice to meet you. And for other people, it's maybe you're helping just an older person like a neighbor or someone you just recently met. Either way, it's this feeling of like you're dropping off an item, you're casually saying hello to them for a second, and then this is when you run into the other person. Now, I am being told the way you can tell the significance of this particular meeting over other times you're at this family friend's house and other people are there is because of their cat. The family friend is going to have, or the person that you're helping has a cat, and this cat will rub up against you, be super affectionate, overly affectionate than other times. And you will notice this, and this is like your cue of like, okay, this is the moment, this is the person you're meeting. Now, you guys will initially try to be together and date, and there will be a clicking of flirtatiousness. It's not going to be like love at first sight. It's going to be like, ooh, infatuation, like they're cute, this is nice, and you're going to try to see if something will happen. Unfortunately, things will just not really seem to work out and line up, and it will just kind of naturally not work out on both of your ends initially. This is a combination of both fate and where you're both at in your life at that moment. So with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, this is showing us that things were just not meant to work out at this time. You were meant to meet and then kind of have a bit of a break from one another and forget about one another and go on your own life journeys for a second. And so that's why it feels like you try to hang out and then the text message doesn't go through. You meet up at the place, it feels like the wrong place. Things just feel a little off, and it adds to the atmosphere of just being like, you're not going to be mad at this other person. You're just going to be like, it's not working. It's just what it is. And then over here, I'm trying to get specifics. I had it. It seems like there's something they need to work out, and it's not something they're going to be aware of. It's like a subconscious thing, and what it is they need to work out will kind of create a wedge between the two of you. Not emotionally, not aggressively between the two of you of disagreement. It's like the way they respond to something is maybe not the way you would respond to something, and you're like, oh, I guess we just don't match in this way. But this is something they're going to overcome. So this is another reason why you're not meant to get together. It's like this is the time when you're kind of only going to be able to meet each other, so you need to meet each other, but then you guys need to separate and go work some stuff out, essentially, and you'll go live your life. Now, during this time period of separation, it looks like they will be dating somebody else and in a decently serious enough a relationship for them. When this relationship unfortunately ends, I say unfortunately because obviously it's good it's ending, because then that opens up you two being together again. But the reason why I say unfortunately is because their partner cheats on them and wants to be with the other person they cheated on, and this other person, this third member of the party, feels like for them they're soulmate and they feel a connection to them, and it's this huge skip and a leap of them being like, our relationship just didn't mean as much to me. And this really hurts them because for them it felt like really important and serious, and it's devastating to be cheated on. So they feel abandoned and left, and it really hurts them, and they're not anticipating that anything is going to happen after this, because they're kind of initially hurt and hooked on the grieving process, which makes sense. Now, this is the interesting thing, though. You will not be a part of the grieving process, but when you meet them, they will still be grieving. So I'm being told in the World card in reverse, their life is sort of on hold. It's not so much on your end. I mean, things will work out better from getting together, but it's way more on their end. It feels like they have a lot of what's the word? When you have a lot of things that are potentially could happen, like they've been working on stuff and they're just waiting for it to come to fruition, whether this be job opportunities, investments they've sort of made, and little ideas, whatever that be. It seems like they have all these things, but they're not popping off yet, and they're not quite sure why. And once they meet you, again, another signal that this is all happening, this is the person, essentially all of this will work out. And of course you will benefit too by being with them, but this is a huge thing that helps and aids in their happiness and prevents you having to be caught in their grieving, situation and train, and you won't have to deal with any of this. They will be clearly over this other person immediately because you are it for them. They will realize, oh, I thought I was in love. Whoopsie, didn't know that I just hadn't met my person yet in that kind of way, or met them in that emotional way, because I technically have met you, but then they get to know you in that much more synchronistic, universe working in your favor kind of way. So when you meet, I'm being told that, first of all, the physical location will involve the rainbow colors. This is like the signifier of like, everything's lining up, everything's working out, it's all coming together, everything you've been through has led to this purpose, and you're meant to have gone through all the different things you've gone through in order to have this all perfectly line up and have the right amount of empathy and openness and trust and blah 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 blah. And I cannot believe I just said that. Blah 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 blah. But the other thing I'm being told is it will feel like a lot of life events or interactions with people will feel like a parting of ways. I'm being told you will literally see the crowd part when you see them again. It will feel this like sensation of like everybody parts ways physically, and you see them and you feel this connection. It's not just metaphorical, like you will see this, but in life leading up to reconnecting with them naturally, it will feel like that. It will just feel like people just seem to seamlessly move out of the way and you move forward in another opportunity closer to them. And it won't feel like people move out of the way and this is a disappointment or anything negative and you're like, well, something better is coming along. It will feel like a happy, joyous journey where you're like more focused on the new opportunity or path closer to them rather than the thing that didn't work out or naturally moved out of its way of convenience so you could be closer in this regard. And when things are seamlessly moving out of the way in order to bring like time and space, bring the alignment of you guys together again, it will not be something you're consciously aware of. It will just be like, oh, that's funny. I guess I got an extra ticket to that show. I guess I'm going to the show now. Oh, I've just been invited to this dinner. Okay, well, I wouldn't have been invited to dinner if I didn't meet these people at this show. Oh, now I'm at this dinner and wow, we want to go dancing now. I don't normally go dancing, but I'm at the right point in my life where, yeah, sure, we'll go dancing. And then at this place, everything parts and you see them and it's like a reconnect of like, hey, how are you doing? How's everything going? And so you won't know consciously it's happening, but it will feel very effortless and nice and happy. And again, these are all your cues of like, this is the person, this is the person, this is the person. So we love that. So keep in mind, I'm being told by my spirit guide that this is a metaphor for how things will feel in the relationship. It will always feel like things move out of the way for the seamless positive transition and good things coming in both of your lives, both individually on a personal level and for the relationship working out. This time, things will work out. I'm being shown that these both cards talk about how once they meet you, they will immediately be over the grieving process. But it talks about how when you get together, it just seems like everything clicks in your life on a deep level for you personally, in personal other aspects of your life. You know what I'm saying? It's like a big domino effect, which we love. So if you enjoyed this reading, consider giving it a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. Sharing helps too. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm wishing you the best and I care for you deeply. Bye!